Hey guys, what's up? Nick here once again, and today we're going to be unboxing and doing a first impressions of the Astro A40's along with the Astro MIXAMP Pro. So we're going to be unboxing both of these on this video, checking them out, hooking them up, and seeing how they sound. So let's get right into it. So in case you guys didn't know, I already have a full video review on my channel of the Astro A50's, which are right here. Now these are obviously kind of the step up from the A40's, and the biggest difference is these are fully wireless headphones, where these are wired. So I'm going to go over most of the differences between them, but this is in no way it's going to be a full comparison video. If you guys would like to see a full comparison between the A50's and the A40's, like which one you should buy, I will definitely make that, but only if you guys would like me to. So let me know in the comment section below if you would like me to make a full comparison. So with that, let's open the MIXAMP Pro first, because it's a smaller box, and we'll save the best for last with the actual headset. So going around the box, we have a couple different things. On the front, it just shows that it works with the PlayStation 4, the PC, and Mac, which is pretty cool. It's tournament ready, whatever that means. Dolby Atmos audio right off the bat, and this is the PS4 edition. This will not work with Xbox, but it is also for PC, which is what I'm going to be using it with. On the right side, it shows another close-up of the dial. And going to the back is kind of where like the meat and potatoes are. This is talking more about what the actual features of it are. So tune with Astro's Audio V2, Dolby Audio, game voice balance, customizable EQ settings, digital daisy chain, customizable software, and 3D audio ready. So just basically some like tech mumbo jumbo to get you excited for it. But the main thing that this amp does is it converts the audio from your headset to your device of your choice, whether it's a PC, a PS4, or a Mac, and you can change all the different audio settings with a hardware device, which is pretty nice. Don't have to worry about the software, and it also is good for if you're a streamer because you can do everything right from the dials, not having to go into a software like OBS or whatnot, which is pretty nice. You can also change the EQ settings right on the fly, as well as switching between Dolby Atmos or not. And it has some pretty cool adapters in the back, including the daisy chaining and the stream port. We'll get more into those in a minute, but for now, let's cut this bad boy open. So we're gonna get the top sticker cut. There we go. Oh, looks like this is gonna slide out of here. Astro has always had a really nice unboxing experience. Kind of reminds me of Apple in a way. Throw the carcass to the side there. And the box itself is really cool looking. It's got some cool decals on it. I don't know if I'll be able to pick this up on camera. I'll have a close-up of it later. But looks pretty cool. It looks like we have a seam here, so it must open, yep, on this side. It says the Astro symbol there. Oh, opening it the wrong way. My bad. All right, here we go. Very cool, very nice. I like that. So we have obviously the amp itself, which actually is pretty hefty, I'm not gonna lie. Put that to the side. They got this like little book case that opens, which is kind of nice, to your accessories. So this comes with quite a bit of stuff, which I'm kind of surprised to see. But we're going to take this out. This little piece of plastic. Looks like we have a pretty lengthy optical cable. It's very good quality as well, like that. They also give you the USB cable, or actually no, this is the daisy chain cable. So this is going to be for if, the daisy chain essentially is for if you have someone else who also has the A40's and you are doing a LAN party or a tournament or something like that, they can then connect their mixer to your mixer and hear your audio through your game. So you can both be listening to the exact same audio at the same time, which is pretty cool. I think, again, most people will probably never use this, but it is cool if you have friends that also have A40's. So there you go. We also have a mic splitter, which is kind of unique. I haven't seen these in a while, but this is a 3.5mm headphone jack, and then it splits to two female, looks like a mic port and a headphone port. I don't know if we'll need this specifically for the headset, but that is included. And then we have a very lengthy USB, micro USB cable. This is for your PC. So this one end goes into the PC with the regular, looks like 2.0 USB. And then the other side, the micro goes into the mixer itself. So again, like I stated with my review on the A50's, really wish that Astro would have went with the USB-C over the micro USB, because micro USB is kind of caveman technology at this point, but it is what it is. At least the super long cable, and it looks very thick and durable, so that is awesome. And just some documentation in there, and that's pretty much it for the unboxing of the mixer. So I actually really like the build quality on the MIXAMP. It looks really premium. It's kind of like hard plastics with some metal accents. I love that the bottom is full on rubber, so it's not going to move around on your desk, or that's not going to scratch your desk at all. I really like the feeling of it overall, and the looks it just looks very futuristic. It brings me back to my A50's review where I talked about the design of the headset itself and the base station. I think Astro does a very, very great job at its overall build quality and its design. I think everything just looks very premium, and you're getting what you're paying for. It doesn't feel chimsy or cheap. You're not paying just for a name. You are getting a very high durable product. So on the front here, on the top layer, I should say, on the left, we have the giant volume dial, and this is used for the overall volume. You can set this in the software, I believe, to the different volume settings, whether it's your game volume or your chat volume. And then moving to the top middle, this button right here, very clicky and tactile. It is a button to switch between Dolby Atmos and your EQ settings, which are built in, but you can also edit them through the software if you'd like. And then down below that, the other button is a switch between the 4 customizable EQ settings, which are pretty nice. And then to the side, the smaller dial is to switch between your game audio and your voice audio, or having them kind of meet in the middle. But it's nice to have this type of control with a hardware device, not having to go into a software and mess around with it. And then going to the bottom, this is where we can see a LED for whether you're using a PC or PS4. And then you have the 3.5mm headphone jack. So yes, you can use this with other headsets as long as they have a 3.5mm headphone jack. It does not have to be just with the Astro A40's. And then moving to the top is where all the other ports are. So going from left to right, we have the daisy chain port, we have an optical in port, we have the USB, micro USB I should say, the switch between the PS4 and PC, aux in, stream in, and the other daisy chain port. So lots and lots of ports and all the stuff on here, but it's nice, it's all built in and ready to go. But yeah, I'm loving the build quality of this thing. So let's get open the A40's, set them all up, and let's hear it out. All right, so back to the A40's. As you can see on the front, we just have a picture of the headset itself. Xbox One, PC, Mac, and mobile. That's what this says. I guess you can connect it to a phone, which is pretty cool. Mod kit ready. We'll get more into that later, but that was one of the biggest issues I had with the A50 is how little you could customize on it. Where the A40's, you can actually swap out the faceplates on the sides and remove the microphone, which is pretty cool. The only thing you can change on the A50's is the cushion type of the ear cups, which come off with a magnet, which you can do the same with the A40's. This is the PS4 edition / PC edition. We're going to be using it only on the PC today. It's got some cool blue accents on the right side. And then going to the back, again, we have the more detailed description of what comes in the box. So we have the tuned with the Astro Audio version 2, superior fit and finish, swappable boom mic, mod kit ready, pro gamer certified. Okay. And we have built for PC, mobile, and console gaming, and then again with the 3D audio ready. It also says sold separately. You can buy mod kits for this headset, which again, that comes with different faceplates, ear cushions, microphones, all the above, and even you can change out the top of the headband, which is pretty cool. All right, so let's get this open. It looks like there is tape on both sides, and this one's gonna flip up, so let's get our handy knife out and cut the tape. One side and the other. So it looks like it comes out on this side and on this side. And then this is the same thing. It looks like it's just gonna slide out of the shell. So boom, we can get rid of the shell. We have another big box with some cool decals on it. The Astro symbol and all that. Very nice. No stickers this time, but we do have a hinge, so it's gonna open from this side. So here we go. I love this design of like the book. It's so cool. So obviously we have the headset on this side, some documentation on this side. Included for cables, we have another splitter. So again, this has to do, I guess what the A40 is, you have to use this, but this time it's a male headphone jack and a male ear microphone jack, and then we have a female 3.5mm headphone jack. So that's kind of weird, you know, it's the opposite. So you must need the preamp to work with this, or maybe you need this wire. Okay. Oh, okay, I see it now. I see it now. So, okay. So yes. So this main wire is what connects into the headset itself. It's just a 3.5mm to 3.5 with a mute switch in the middle. And then this is the splitter that would go into your PC. So this is where you'd plug the end of this cable into the female 3.5 on this, and then you'd plug in on your PC the microphone and the headphone jack. But since we were using the mixer, we can actually bypass this and just use the splitter that came with it, and it would go right into the mixer amp, and then the USB would go to the PC. So it's kind of like a bypass in a way, but it's nice that it includes this. So no, you can buy and use the Astro A40's without using the MIXAMP. You do not need the MIXAMP. So those are the two cables that come with it. Let's lift up the headset itself. Feels like I thought, exactly like the A50's. Pretty much the same weight and everything, which is kind of surprising. I would think that a wireless headset would be a little bit more heavy. Let me just, for reference. Ever so slightly, the A50's over here are a little bit heavier. Ever so slightly, but that makes sense because it's got a battery in it and it's wireless. But, well, maybe we'll see this, what this feels like once we have the wires, you know, connected to it. So we do have some tape on here, which we can peel off on camera. Ooh, that felt good. There's one more on this side. Perfect. So yeah, it's very nice sheened look. So this is the tournament ready edition of the Astro A40's. We do have another piece of plastic up on the microphone. We'll just peel that off. So yeah, going around the actual body, it looks and feels just like the A50's, not much of a difference. Ear cushions are still pop off just with magnets, which is pretty nice, easy customizable. But the biggest thing that I love about the A40's over the A50's is how much you can customize. So yes, you can pull off the microphone and the ear cushions, or the ear cushion caps, I should say. So I believe you just pull this off. I don't want to break it, but there we go. So it just pops out with a 3.5mm headphone jack, and you can remove it. Where on the A50's, it is non-removable, which is kind of stupid. You can also take off the ear plates with just some magnets, so it peels right off, and then is an open back headphone, and it easily goes right back on as well. So you can buy a ton of different kits that have different images and stuff like that on these to change them out. It's a little more like plastic. It's not metal. It looks like metal, but it's just plastic, so really light and kind of flimsy, cheapy, but it's cool. It's still cool. You can customize it. Same with the top ear band thing. You can remove this as well and customize that. And then we have the adjustable. I love the design of their adjusters for both their headsets. You can see inside of the mechanism here for the adjuster, you can see the wire. That's a coiled wire, so that's pretty cool. So it's basically for longevity. It's not going to pinch. It's not going to break. It's a very nice design. I love that for adjusting for different people's head sizes. So very, very nice. Feels very flexible. You know, it's one of the best designed gaming headsets on the market, in my opinion. Just in terms of how comfortable it is and how good it looks and how well it feels in the hands. It doesn't feel cheap or flimsy by any means, even though it is 90% plastic. Not much metal is involved, but it doesn't need to be. And then going to the bottom is where we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, and this is where it's going to plug in to that cable, which will plug into the amp. So let's actually plug it all in, get it set up, and see how it is. All right, so we got the Astro A40's all set up through the MIXAMP to my PC. I tried out a couple songs and stuff like that. I haven't played any games yet to test it out quite yet, but I want to give you guys my thoughts on it, how it feels on the head, how it sounds so far just out of the box, not really using any of the EQs or anything like that. I gotta say, setup process, easy as can be. Literally easiest process I've ever dealt with. Like, no problems whatsoever. Second thing is that the MIXAMP works great. It was literally plug and play. I love being able to adjust the volume through the headset and my mic right from the hardware itself. It's super convenient, feels really nice right off the bat, just to go whoop whoop, you know, without having to go through the software or mess with your keyboard or anything like that. It's just a really nice user experience overall. Also, the headset, extremely comfortable, just like it was with the A50's. It is a little heavier with the cable once you get that connected to it than the A50's on your head, where it's free, it's wireless. But the biggest difference is obviously because of this cable, it does catch on your arm a few times, it might catch on your desk. But again, the really nice thing about the MIXAMP is your cable can be a lot shorter than what it would normally be going to a PC. So you don't have to worry about the adapter part of it. That's a splitter to the separate microphone and headphone adapters. Now it just goes straight from the 3.5 into the MIXAMP. So you have a much shorter cable. You can put it anywhere, any orientation you like on your desk, and you only have to deal with the one cable, which is nice, but still going to catch up on you, still going to brush against your arm and stuff like that, which is kind of an annoyance. So keep that in mind. The other thing that I thought was really weird, with the A50s, you could mute the microphone just by moving it up, which made a lot of sense. I understand maybe the technology doesn't work too well because it is a removable microphone compared to the A50s, which is not. But with the A40s, in order to mute it, you have to actually hit a switch on the cable itself. It's not like a huge downside, but it definitely feels cheap and flimsy compared to just moving it up and getting it out of your way. I like that idea. So it's kind of a bummer that you have to actually reach for this switch on your cable, and it is a little bit heavy, a little clunky, and it kind of gets in the way a little bit. It just looks kind of weird, but if you can move past that, it's not a huge deal. It's just something I noticed. But one cool thing is there is an indicator when you do have your mic muted on the MIXAMP itself, in which by default the MIXAMP lights, LED lights on both the dials are glowing white, just like the other LEDs, which indicate if you are using Dolby Atmos or if you're using equalizer settings or if it's on PC or PS4, they are all white. But if you mute the headset, mute with the switch on the cable, it switches to red, which is pretty cool. It's a nice indicator saying, hey, your mic is muted, nobody can hear you, yada, yada, yada. Just another cool little feature that's added with buying the MIXAMP separately from the A40s, or if you're lucky enough to get the bundle deal where some of the A40s come with the MIXAMP in the box. One thing I did notice with the A40s though is there is like a creaking noise. I don't really know how to explain it, and you guys aren't going to hear it, but in the headset itself, and it might just be because it's brand new, I haven't like broken it in yet, but it definitely creaks a lot, like just with little movement. I'm hearing creaking in my ears from the headset, which I did not get that at all with the A50s. So maybe it's something to keep in mind. You're not going to hear it once you actually have audio coming through it if I'm like playing a game or whatever. But sitting here right now talking to you guys, every little movement I make, I hear a little creaking in my right ear. So kind of an annoyance. But again, it's just a small little thing. It's not like a huge deal breaker or nothing like that. Now going around the headset compared to the A50s, on the A50s, because they're a wireless headset, you got a lot more options in terms of functions you can do on the headset itself. So the A40s are pretty bland. There's not really anything you can do on the headset itself. There's no volume adjuster. There's no switching between modes such as the equalizer modes or switching between Dolby Atmos or off. There's none of that on the headset, where on the A50s you had all that ready to go. The main reason is because most people with the A40s are also going to be using the MIXAMP, which has all those on it ready to go. So it's kind of one of those what you prefer kind of situations. So I would highly recommend, if you are getting the A40s, to go with the MIXAMP, because if you don't, literally every single thing you'd want to mess with is going to be in the software at that point, and that can be kind of cumbersome for people who want to be in a competitive sense, or maybe if you're streaming or whatnot with this headset. I would highly recommend going with the MIXAMP to work with your A40s than just to go buy them vanilla. I'm going to see if you can pick this up on the microphone. It's just this creaking noise that I've been hearing, and I want you guys to kind of listen to it and let me know what you think. To me, it just seems like it's a little bit more plasticky feeling than the A50s. So if I were to grab the A50s, there's no creaking. I'm literally moving these just as hard as the other ones. No creaking. I don't know if it's a different type of plastic they used or what. Maybe it just needs to be broken in. I don't know. That could definitely be, but definitely something to keep in mind. Other than that though, with the build quality, getting it out of the way, the A40s, it's still an incredibly comfortable headset, if not one of the most comfortable headsets on the market in terms of gaming. The cushions are super plush, very cushiony. I don't have any gripes with them at all. Again, they are extremely easily removable just with some magnets. So if you ever have to swap them out for damages, or if you want to try out the leather ear cups, you could do that with a breeze. The adjustable headset is also extremely easy to move around and adjust to different sizes of heads. I will say though, I have a pretty medium-sized head, and I have to have it on the max setting for the headset to have the most comfortable feeling, I guess I would say. So keep that in mind. If you have a rather large noggin, these might not fit too comfortably on your head, I will say that. But for most people, this should be just fine. And other than that, that's pretty much it for the headset's design. There's nothing else really to talk about. Everything else is, again, through the software or through the MIXAMP if you go with that. So lastly, let's get into the sound quality and then the microphone. So after spending a couple hours playing some games of Call of Duty, a couple matches with Warzone and stuff like that, and I listened to a couple videos on YouTube, and I also listened to some music, I gotta say, the sound quality actually sounds different compared to the A50's. I wasn't expecting that at all. What I mean by that is with my A50's, I explained this more in depth in my full video review, but essentially the sound quality is a lot more crisp, clear, not too bassy, and it's also not too high. It's kind of like that perfect middle ground because it's going for the absolute clarity in the sound, which is very good for if you're listening for footsteps and stuff like that in a competitive sense nature. This headset, however, it still does that. It still has a very clear, nice sound, and I think this has to do with the MIXAMP, and a lot of this could change with different presets and stuff like that. But I gotta say, especially if you use the Dolby Atmos button on this MIXAMP, it heightens the sound to a whole new level in terms of its bass. The bass is extremely punchy, not muddy, it's still very clear, but it's extremely just impressive. It sounds very, very good. I would even say this sounds better than the A50's. So in terms of sound quality, like for any situation, whether that's for music, especially for music, I would say that. So one of the gripes I had with the A50's was I felt like if you're listening to music with this headset, it's definitely one you don't want to use, unless it's just for a hobbyist. But if you're kind of an audiophile, or if you have very high quality FLAC files, you're trying to listen to them through your headset, you're gonna have a pretty bad time. But with the A40's, man, that bass response is so damn good, including with the clarity and especially the different EQ settings. Obviously for music, you do not want the Dolby Atmos sound turned on. Use one of the pre-installed EQ settings, which again, they're all great off the bat. It sounds really good, insanely good. And then that, of course, goes into watching like media content such as movies or videos, and of course for gaming. So in terms of audio quality, if you were doing like a versus, and again, this is no way a comparison video, and I will make a full one if you would like. If I was to do a versus in terms of sound quality, I would say the A40's beat the A50's if you are using the MIXAMP. That is a separate purchase. But that being said, the audio quality is top notch. It just kind of sucks you got to use a cable. Alright, and for this final little section here, we're going to talk about the microphone. Now, just like with the A50, I think this pretty much has the exact same sound quality, if not a little bit worse. The sound quality on these microphones, they're not good. They're fine for a gaming sense if you're using them, you know, with your online friends in Call of Duty or Battlefield or whatever you're playing. But in general, I wouldn't recommend using this headset in any means for like a commentary sense or for YouTube videos or for streaming. I would invest in a higher quality microphone. Whether that's a Blue Yeti if you're still using a USB mic, or if you want to go all the way and go with an XLR setup, definitely go with that over this any day. But it'll get the job done. It sounds okay, which you can hear right now, but for most situations, it's not that good. So that pretty much is my full unboxing and first impressions of the Astro A40's with using the MIXAMP. If there's anything I didn't cover in this video, or maybe something I missed, let me know in the comment section below with a question you may have if you're looking at buying these. I'll definitely get back to you as soon as I can. On top of that, if you want to see a full video review of the A40's and maybe a separate video with the MIXAMP as well, let me know as well in the comment section below. I'll definitely make those in the future because I love making these type of tech videos for you guys, and especially for the average consumer who's looking out and trying to buy one of these, and they're expensive. They're not cheap headsets. So it's kind of like, do I really want to shell out this amount of money for these headsets? Are they really truly worth the price? So let me know in the comment section below with that. Of course, leave a like to show your support as always if you like the video. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And we'll hopefully see you in the next one. Peace.